Good morning. Thank you for joining us.
Yeah, hi, I'm Allison Frankel. I'm a designer here at Pointe Design and Remodel, and I'm joined by James Bailey, another designer on our team. I'm
Yeah.
so lucky to have him with me today.
Oh, thank you. Well, let's get going, I guess, right?
Yeah,
Yeah.
perfect.
Okay. So, we're doing a case study day for you guys. We're talking about kitchen remodel, and you're going to get all kinds of great information from our webinar here.
Yeah, so that's us. You can see me in this kitchen that I designed, and James in a gorgeous master bath that he designed. So we work in all kinds of styles customized to the client's needs and wants.
Yeah, absolutely. Well said.
So, what is design build? That's always a really good question. So, we're a design build firm, and the benefit of that is like we're designers that work in a construction company. That's the design part of the build. But what's nice about that is that we get all the details decided up front, so that we can have our construction phase be a lot more efficient, which is really great.
Yeah.
And what we're going to do today too is show you a great kitchen that has no island. Interesting, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. And then we'll talk to you about some planning tips and tricks, like, tools of the trade that, we've learned, and some good things you'll want to know when you work on your own kitchen design, and whether you work with us or not. And then how to choose cabinetry and materials. And then we'll see a whole bunch of before and afters to get you inspired.
Really fun stuff there with the before and afters. Yeah, you guys are gonna love this. So why listen to us, right? Why listen to us? Well, we are experts, and part of that is that we're a design build firm. So not only construction contractor, but also design experience and sourcing materials and all of that. Of course, we've been around since 1986. That's a long time in the industry.
Yeah.
Same owner, same license, same company name the entire time. So really, really great standing here at Sea Point. And we specialize in, room additions, kitchens, bathrooms, basically anything that you might need to have done inside your home. And of course, our referrals are just through the roof.
Yeah.
We get like about half of our business. I think 52% now is past clients and repeat clients and referrals. It's just amazing stuff.
We love to do that. We like to work with our past clients and new clients, of course, too.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
So one of the main things that we do is really setting realistic expectations. So sometimes we'll go to what we call a first appointment, which is a free consultation. We'll come out to your home and take a look at what you want to do, what your home looks like now, and chat with you about, some possibilities. So we'll talk about things like your budget and your wants and needs, and, how we can really best support you in getting what you want.
Yeah.
There's some practical things, but also the fun stuff.
Absolutely. We just want to be realistic right from the get. A lot of us love watching the HGTV shows, including myself. I get some great inspiration from that. I know that Allison loves that as well.
I do too, yeah.
But, your project isn't going to happen in half an hour over a glass of wine.
Right.
And, we got to be realistic about budgets and what things really look like, time frames, what things cost, all that. And so we want to give you some real good direction with that, as compared to maybe some things that you might see on TV, right?
Absolutely. Yeah. So there's a lot of ways that you can work. As we say, we really think that our model is the best because you get a great result. And I actually met with a potential client who said, I have 2 bathrooms upstairs. I'm not going to show you. They've been under construction for 9 months.
Yeah.
I said to her, we would have completed those in at the most probably about 9 weeks.
Yeah.
So our process is much more efficient, and it's not do it yourself. You don't have to get out that hammer and nail situation, your drywall saw, anything like that. Or, coordinate with a contractor, which can be wonderful, but also it's, we take care of all that for you. We're the contractor, we're the design firm. We have all that baked in.
Yeah, and we're gonna talk about this in even more detail as we go through some more slides. And of course, a project, if you're doing a bathroom model, kitchen model, you're not going to tackle that yourself. That's not really a do-it-yourself project.
No.
But you potentially might work with a contractor, or you might select a design build firm. And there's some differences between the two. So that's really going to be some important takeaways for you guys out of this seminar, I think.
So back to, so when you work with a contractor, you need to coordinate all these different parties that are involved in your project, like an architect, interior designer, structural engineer, material purchasing. Like you may have to go to Anaheim on a Friday at 3:00 to choose your tile in traffic. And also coordinate with the general contractor and the subcontractors, which We do all that for you. That's
Yeah.
the whole benefit of working with design build.
Exactly. Well said. And just to kind of elaborate on that a little bit, I mean, just like you said, just like, you know, the images on the screen show, when you're the homeowner and you're working with the contractor, you're right in the middle of this whole thing. And not only are you in the middle, but you have a responsibility here, right? And a lot of people don't really realize that. They think, I have a contractor, I'm good to go. Well, there's some things you have to take care of. So all these people, all these smaller circles, you see the architect, interior design, the structural engineer, you have to find those people. You have to find people you trust. And not only that, you have to be the one to communicate all the details back and forth to them, and then eventually get all those details to the general contractor, right? And a lot of that has to do with the architects and interior designer, but also on materials, just like Allison said about going down to State College and Anaheim, whatever, and finding all these materials. You have to coordinate all those things. And so a lot of times when you hear about when things don't go right with someone's project, a lot of times it's because they didn't know they had to coordinate this, or it didn't get coordinated properly. And so there are some things to understand and as far as what you need to do if you try to work with a general contractor, because it's not really such an easy thing to do, I would say.
You have a lot of responsibility on your own shoulders.
Sure.
For sure.
Yeah.
So design build. Okay, we've talked a bit about this, but we'll talk a little bit more because some people don't understand it as well, and we want to make sure that's super clear. Yeah. So we this is really the goal, is to make you, the homeowner, happy, right? It's to, when you hire a design build contractor, you get all of these services baked into your one point of contact. So Pointe takes care of all of this for you, which there's like one person to call. One person if you have a warranty issue, which typically, we have a 5-year warranty on our labor, which is wonderful. A lot of people love that. But we take care of all of this for you. You meet at our showroom, which we're sitting in right now. You're seeing us in our tile room, which is so fun. But anyway, we think there's a lot of benefit to this. And you're busy. You have a lot going on in your life, whether you're working or retired or have family, things that you're dealing with. We're here to help you. We're here to make this easy for you and fun.
Yeah, well said. Absolutely. Basically, it's one point of contact. We're taking all the burden, all the responsibility off of you to have to coordinate all these different people and find these different people. And we've got it all here under one roof, which makes us accountable, us responsible, and allows us really to coordinate all those things in a cohesive way where everything makes sense, so that we don't run into installation issues down the road. We don't run into, creating designs that don't work with the materials. Like, we can be on top of all that when we have control over all of it. And so that's really a big benefit to you.
Yeah, I agree.
Here's the guys hard at work.
Yeah, we love our guys for sure. Yeah, for sure.
Yeah. So we're full service. We're going to create plans for you. We're going to do all the installation work. We're going to source all of the materials. And again, it's sort of one point of contact. All you have to do is show up for design meetings, show up so we can walk you through the decision-making process. We'll make it easy, and we'll take a process that might otherwise be overwhelming, and we'll make it, detailed and easy for you.
Right.
Yeah. Oops, a little fast there.
Okay, so you too can have your consultation in home.
Yeah.
So go ahead and drop your name and number in the chat box, and we can set that up for you.
Yeah, absolutely.
With one of our design consultants.
Absolutely, we'd be happy to do that for you.
Yeah. And so now, ta-da, the reveal of our L-shaped kitchen in Fountain Valley. So this is a great kitchen. Wasn't so great to start with.
Yeah, it looks a little small and, confined in there. Yeah.
It really was. And it was original to the home, which was, I believe, like late 60s, early 70s. What you're seeing there is a vent hood that blocked the light in that room. It's just not so great.
Yeah, really divided, huh? Right.
Very divided, yeah. And then also the cooktop that had broken. And so the clients did a workaround to make, just to make the kitchen functional for a while. And they put in what's called a slide-in range, or you're seeing that white oven on the opposite wall. So they had to cut out some cabinetry and slide in that extra range. Kudos to them. They were very creative and really made it work for the time until they could get it remodeled. So there was what I created was an open space for the kitchen. So we took over You're seeing some storage in the background there. We'll show you some more pictures too. But really, there's just better flow, better light. You can see that you're not seeing a sink at the window. Why would they put the sink on the wall, on just a
Yeah, that
wall?
is very unusual and obviously not good design.
No,
right?
not great design. And so, of course, the first impulse I had was let's move the sink over. Let's move the dishwasher over. Let's take down that big cabinet. This house does have a big wall between the living room and the kitchen, former dining room. And yeah, you can see it there. So let's go back just one if we can. So that wall, sometimes like I'm doing another project where we're taking out that wall. And that's also a possibility. But these clients in particular didn't want that big open space. They wanted to keep that separation between more their living area and their kind of kitchen cooking zone. So I'm sure you probably encountered that too, like when you don't want to take out a wall.
Yeah, most people want to open the spaces up. Sometimes that's structural, sometimes it's not. But on the other hand, if you have an office or some other reason that you want to keep spaces separated, sometimes we have to talk through that and figure out what's the best design for you. Right?
Yeah. And those structural projects can add to the cost. So sometimes it's a budget constraint or sometimes it's just a preference. So yeah, you'll see what we did there. So that's an old-fashioned way, I have to say, of creating kind of an opening to the living room. You can see where the former dining room was. And the clients there it is there. So I really wanted to modernize this and make it look more functional and, up to the moment.
Sure.
Yeah, without taking out that wall. So that's the existing floor plan as the house was built. We call that an as-built. And we create those drawings because it's really important to see, for permitting also, like what is the space and what can we do with it? So that tiny kitchen just had to be changed. It wasn't going to stay that way. And, and we all agreed, me and the clients and I for sure. So you'll see that what we did was removed that peninsula end and really created, it turned a little bit differently, but so basically, if you see where the new stove is, you can see it with those kind of burner drawings on the top there. We placed that very carefully to make the ducting work to take that ducting that was existing and connect into that without having that cabinet bank above it. Does that make sense?
Yeah, sometimes it's tricky, and you're not only thinking about where you want to put cabinets and ranges and stuff, but how is that all going to work with the mechanical stuff there too, right?
Right.
And so that's a great point. Yeah.
Yeah, and it has a truss. Well, I won't get into that, but there's some construction reasons why we had to put the cooktop in range just where it is. So it worked out great. And you can see that the sink got close to the window. Yay. And one thing that I was really happy about, and the clients are too, you see some pictures of that, is that we did a Lehman's pull out in that corner so that deep space next to the sink under the window, the client still can get in and get great storage for all their small appliances, which is so important.
And so those are all great points on why you want your interior designer coordinated and, as in a design firm operation, where it's all under one umbrella. So those type of mechanical with the design features can all be figured out in the beginning.
Yeah, we think about, I say this to a lot of people. I'm a designer, but I think about construction all the time. So it saves a client money and it also just makes for a more efficient build, actually. So what's nice about working with us too is that you'll see these, we work with very tightly dimensioned plans in the interior design phase. So we show there's elevations of each of the walls of the kitchen. So you can see kind of, if you're standing in the kitchen, what is that wall going to look like? So you can see on the refrigerator wall, I also added kind of a desk area over to the right and that's that you're seeing an open doorway that leads into the living room. And the shelves, we squared off the drywall and then used kind of a floating shelf type material in that opening so that it looks a lot more modern. But the clients used to have a fax machine and they conducted a lot of work actually in their kitchen. Who doesn't, right? So I thought it was nice to have some cabinetry and some electrical and a great place to sit and be, part of the family and, part of the whole goings on, but also have a nice place to keep the works
kind of hide it away a little bit and then
Yeah.
open it up when you need to use it. Yeah,
Exactly,
functional and beautiful. Really, really nice
Thank
design,
you.
Allison.
I really love it. And there's some fun. This is great. So I'd like to show a few materials too, because you're seeing our beautiful color elevations that we do, these color renderings. We have such an amazing group that helps us with this. What I'll show you now, because the pictures are great, but it's really fun to see this actual thing.
You know what? It looks so much bigger too, doesn't it?
So much bigger.
Yeah, I love that about the renderings, that not only are you seeing your colors and materials, but you kind of get a sense of what the space is really going to look like.
Yeah, for sure. Absolutely. So I'm going to show you, here's the cabinet. So you can see that it's a beautiful kind of a cream tone. It's called Oyster, and it's got a hazelnut glaze.
Got a light glazing. You don't know if you guys can see the very subtle glazing that's on the surface of the door. It's really beautiful.
Yeah, and these clients really love Italy, and actually they went on a cruise to celebrate that their house was done after the project to the Mediterranean. But here's their countertop. It's a quartz, and it's got that warm tone veining and also a gray, which I want to show you something special because these clients, I just love that they did this. They're so bold and brave. So this is their backsplash. It's a beautiful white.
So you can see them together.
Yeah, with a nice variation. Set this way. This is their sink. I'm going to bring that closer to the camera. So do you have to have a white sink? No, you don't. This is called Cashmere. It's from Kohler. I'm just going to open this book and show you. You know, if you said to me, Allison, I love vintage, I want to do a pink sink, I'd say, let's absolutely do it. There's a pink sink from Kohler. So there's so many options. You know, you can have we love to design your kitchen custom to you.
Yeah.
So that's the fun part of it. And of course, these warm honey bronze poles, just so gorgeous and warm with all this design. And then this flooring, the client has a new little puppy. Oh my God, so cute. And also they have a pool. So I'm going to swing this piece of tile around. Sorry, James.
Yeah, that's all right.
This looks like wood, but guess what? It's tile. So it's really, really durable. It's fantastic if you have pets and pool, and they have grandchildren. So, you know, cooking in the kitchen is no problem with spaghetti or whatever it might be, red wine, spill it on the floor. It's easy to clean up. Won't hurt anything.
Yeah. And I love that we are showing the materials because I think it's a really fun part of the process when we're working together and, you know, we got this huge showroom and we're able to start laying out materials and start to get a sense of our color story. And I just think that's a fun part of the process. Yeah. And of course, eventually all those colors and materials get into your color rendering so you can really see it in what the actual space is going to look like. And so that's really cool. Yeah,
it's so important to see it so you know what you're getting. Yeah, there's some more angles of that same kitchen, how it all the spaces relate to each other, the work triangle, and boom, we built it.
Wow.
Yeah, so I'm so proud of this kitchen, and the clients are so happy too, which just warms my heart, makes me so happy. And I love their pot filler. That's so great for cooking pasta. They did a great faucet. They have a reverse osmosis system and also a soap dispenser and things like that. What you're seeing there is their toaster, and they have that in their Lehman's pull-out. That's that device I was talking about that really helps give storage inside of what could be what's called a blind corner.
Yeah.
Like you just can't see and reach in it. Yeah, it was so great to move the sink near the window and also get that dishwasher moved over too.
It looks 1,000 times nicer.
Thank you. Yeah, the clients are so happy. She's even said she can't believe it's her kitchen. Yeah, it's just really wonderful. I'm so happy it turned out so well. And then they really love their coffee. So we created a beverage station. And also something to note that you're actually not seeing here, and that's intentional, is we installed what's called plug molds. So a strip underneath the cabinet, in that upper cabinet in the back, where the clients can plug in multiple small appliances. So if they wanted to make waffles on a Saturday and have coffee percolating or whatever, they can do that. So we can have tea, coffee, and waffles cooking all at the same time.
That's why your backsplash looks so clean and amazing. Wow.
Yeah, it does. We don't have all those electrical outlets right in the backsplash, but we're up to code. So yeah, it's so fantastic. And I just love that workspace, and you know, it's such a comfortable space to sit and work, and also lots of space to prep.
Yeah.
In the kitchen.
Well, what a cool project.
Thank you. Yeah.
Yeah. So planning your remodel, it's super important to choose the right contractor, right?
Yeah.
And so that's what we're trying to help you do here today. And let's kind of talk about some things that go along with that, right? Because there's a lot of things to think about, right? There's design elements, there's all these kinds of things. But what about some other things that maybe going to potentially keep you out of trouble, right? So insurance sounds like a basic thing. You would expect any contractor that you're working with to have insurance, but you'd be really surprised to find out how much of our industry is either underinsured or don't even have any insurance at all, right?
Right. Yeah.
And the problem there is if something should happen and it's on your property where they're doing the work, then you as the homeowner end up being responsible for that, liable for that. And that's a horrible situation. So the good news is it's super easy to check. There's a website up here on our screen. It's cslb.ca.gov. That's the California State License Board website. Go to their website. Any contractor or subcontractor that you're considering using for a project, even if it's just something little, just look up their license number. Make sure their license is valid. It's going to tell you if they have insurance, if they have any negative reports or problems on their license. So check it out. Super easy to do, and that's hopefully going to save you some heartache, maybe.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah, really important to do that, just to do that due diligence for sure.
Yeah. Yep. And then also we talk a little bit about the importance of the class of license, right? That's something that you might not really be thinking about, probably because no one explained it to you before. And so in the state of California, we have 43 different classifications of license. So what that means, if you're an electrician, you've got an electrical contractor's license. If you're a plumber, you've got a plumber's license, and so on and so on. Where it gets tricky is, for example, I'll give you an example here. So let's say you're putting in a water heater, and let's say you're putting in a new location. So you call the plumber out, he says, yeah, no problem. You guys agree on a price. He puts the water heater in. Okay, well, in order for him to do this, he has to make a penetration through the roof, right? Because it has to duct out the heat and the fumes and stuff.
Yeah.
Has to vent. Well, guess what? Because he's a plumber, he likely does not have a roofing license. It'd be highly unusual for him to have that license. So the way that project should have gone is you should have the plumber to do the work and the roofer to do the roofing part of it, right? Because they're both licensed and insured to do their specific task.
Specialty, yeah.
And where it gets even worse is, let's say you put the water heater in, everything is working great. A couple months down the road, we get some heavy rains and your roof starts leaking. Now it's like, okay, do I call the plumber back who wasn't licensed to do that in the beginning? Does he even have insurance to cover that? Like, it could get real complicated. So make sure whoever's doing the work, they have the right license for the job. Okay, that's very important.
Yeah.
And again, State Contractor License Board website, cslb.ca.gov. You can check all that stuff out.
Yeah, and then what we take care of for you, it's really important that we have to do lead and asbestos testing, whether you have a new house or an older house. It's required because it impacts how we demolish.
Yep.
So whether we need to abate or we can just remove.
Yep.
Also, we work with homeowners associations. A lot of people in Orange County live in communities where there's an HOA. We'll take care of that. And we also take care of getting the city building permits, which, you know, that sounds, some people would never even think of, how would I take care of all that? Don't worry, call Pointe. We'll take care of it when we work with you on a design build project.
Yep, and I'll add a couple of things to that. So just so you guys know, the lead and asbestos testing is required by the state. It's required. It's not optional. Even if you have a newer house, it's required to do. So this is good in some ways, that if you get a contractor or a person that's going to do some work and they're not telling you you need to do this test, or they're not helping you facilitate getting that set up, that means they're not following the rules. And sometimes that can be a red flag.
Yeah.
The other thing that could be a red flag is if you get a contractor and he says, no, you pull the permit, you guys can do that or whatever. That's also a red flag, because the person that pulls the permit is responsible for the project. So you want the guy that's building it to be responsible for it. And also, if he's not willing to pull the permit, maybe there's a problem with this license. Maybe there's something else he's not sharing. So just be cautious of those things and notice those red flags if they occur.
Yeah. So you can check all these different sources out and see what you think about us. We think we're great, of course, but we have other, we have clients that have submitted really great reviews. And so it's important to go ahead and check these out. But it's important to check us out if you want to work with us or any other contractor that you're going to work with. These are great places to check for sure.
100%. Yeah, absolutely. So you're considering using a contractor, whether it's Pointe, it's maybe some other contractor, get some references. Say, let me talk to some of your previous clients. Take me out to a project you're working on. I want to see what it looks like at the job site, right? If there's trash and the safety hazards not clean, that's again a red flag. You want to come see one of our projects? I'll take you out there. You're going to see it's clean, it's orderly. There's no safety hazards. Our job sites are well taken care of. And that just shows, if we're respecting the job site, we're respecting the work and the homeowners, then that's what you want to see, right? Because then we're going to respect the whole project. We're taking pride in our work. And that's what you want to see from anyone that you're going to work with, right?
Absolutely.
And of course, if they have some accolades,
that's great too.
Best of Orange County. These are all positive things that you want to be looking for, right?
Absolutely. Yeah. And as I said before, we've been in the business for 37 years. We've done thousands of remodels. Once you're a client, you get the of course you get the white glove service.
Yeah.
And we offer a 5-year warranty on our labor. So if your cabinet door goes wonky for some reason in 4.5 years, you call me and we take care of it for you, right? Or
100%.
call James, whoever you worked with.
And actually it's even, I'm going to add more because it's actually even better than what we just described to you, because not only do we do a 5-year warranty, in comparison, most contractors are only going to do a 1 year. And the reason being that's what the minimum required by the state contractor license board, right? So 5 years. Now that's the installation. Actually, most of our product, things like cabinets for sure, sometimes countertops, depending on what you choose, and other materials will be lifetime warranty from the manufacturer. So that just speaks to the quality of the materials that we're installing as well.
That's right.
Yeah. Okay, so design process, let's talk about that a little bit, how that goes, and some factors contributing to that. Right.
So like we were talking about, so we'll do that design consultation, which is that first appointment where one of us comes out to your home and talks with you about what you want to do, and we set
sort of getting started, right?
Right, talk it through, and then take a few measurements, potentially a lot of photos usually, and then our next thing is a design agreement meeting. And so part of the design phase is that we'll write up what we heard from you, so what we believe the scope of the project is. And then when that's signed, then we start selecting materials, we finalize the scope and the budget. And the whole point of all that is to get to a really tight construction agreement or construction contract. So at that point, down to the dollar, how much your project is going to cost. That's why we have this, pretty thorough process in design, is that we want you to know exactly what you're buying and what you're getting.
Absolutely. And just in contrast, again, that doesn't usually happen in the industry. Usually you work with a general contractor. He starts out with a contract for you, right out the gate. You guys discuss, it looks good, you sign it. But then what you find out is as you start selecting materials, as you start building things, oh, this doesn't work, that doesn't work, that material wasn't included. We got to do all this extra stuff. And of course, your costs go up and up and up, right? And that's not, to me, it doesn't seem like a good process, right?
No, I don't like it either.
We want to figure out all the details with you, give you some idea budget in the beginning, figure out all the details down to, dimmer, no dimmer, all these little things, get your construction contract accurate, and then give you an accurate price for the work that needs to get done.
Yeah.
And I think it's a lot more comfortable process for our clients.
Absolutely. Well, it's a financial investment in your home. So you want to know what am I investing for sure.
Yeah. And then, of course, after we get past that, we're going to have a ramp up. We're going to get you familiar with the project manager, get the project manager familiar with the project, talk about all the logistics of pets and kids and how we're getting in and trash bins and all this stuff, really, so that we can start your project in a very sort of considerate and respectful way.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We take care of permitting, and then we start demo and the build process. That's the start of build. So do we demo and leave you for a few weeks? No. Typically it's demo, build, like all the phases continue very quickly.
We'll work quickly through your project to get it done in a timely manner. Of course, there's a certain order and a responsible way that we have to manage that too, to make sure everything's done gets done correctly.
including inspections and,
Mhm.
inserted along the way as different phases are completed.
Absolutely.
Yep.
Okay.
So what should you budget for? This is a question we often get.
Yeah, and it's a hard one to answer depending upon how much information we have, but let's go for it. Yeah.
Yeah, so really these three S's are kind of what we think of first. It's like, how big is the project? Is it small, medium, or large? You might say, oh, I have a small kitchen and maybe it's 3,000 square feet. That's a large kitchen. Scope, how big are we, going? What are we going to do? Is it structural, non-structural? Are we talking about a powder bathroom or like a very large, complex primary bathroom?
Yep.
And then selection, of course. So it's like, what are the materials that we're choosing? Are we doing, really complicated, or elaborate finish on the cabinetry? Are we using a higher end, door style, things like that?
Yeah.
Are we using, a really elaborate and complex tile?
Lots of choices. And we
Mhm.
want to give you direction on that as we work together
Right.
and start shaping the project together best we can anyways.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And cabinetry plays a pretty big role, especially for kitchens, because that's the bulk of where things go.
Absolutely.
And like in the kitchen we're talking about today, we inserted a lot of things, like we had that custom paint and glaze, and then we had spice inserts, and we had, some of those features. They do start to add up. So, we went actually in this project, I advised the clients to go with a different door style than their top preference. We went to their number 2 because it helped balance the cost.
Yeah.
Which is, they got the features and bells and whistles that they liked, but also a gorgeous cabinet door.
Yeah.
Mhm.
And so when it comes to cabinets, you have basically some different directions you can go. You can do stock cabinets, which basically it's a very basic line. It's very limited in the
Colors and
the
styles.
colors and
Yeah.
styles, and even in the configurations of the cabinets. And that particular line, it's going to be the most cost effective for sure, but it's also going to have the least warranty on it, and it's going to have the least amount of, really has no modifications. So you just get your boxes in 3-inch increments, and you have to kind of work with that for the design.
Yeah.
But when we get into semi-custom, which is what most of our clients are doing, there you can adjust sizes. You have a lot of door styles to select from. You have a lot of colors to choose from. And at that point, you're going to get a lifetime warranty, good hardware. That's really a big step up from the stock cabinets.
Yeah, and custom, we can also do custom cabinetry when needed, of course.
Mhm.
We typically install a semi-custom cabinetry because we have such a great option with a company that's based in the US, which we love.
Yeah.
And so they're usually semi-custom suits most clients.
Yep. But we have full custom available too. And we'll talk about some of the differences a little bit further in detail as we go through this a little bit more. So cabinet inserts. So, we're designers. We want to work with you to design a space specifically for what you need. The specific types of storage and things that we're going to integrate into the cabinets is going to be part of that.
Yeah, and these big drawers, I love a big drawer because they're so much easier to access. You don't have to get on your knees and search in the back of the cabinet door on a shelf. But of course, there are projects where we want to plan even for cleaning supplies, whether it's spices next to your cooktop or, utensil storage. We want to make sure that you have what you need where you are going to be using it.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. So before and after photos, so many projects. It's so fun to see what a client had and how we changed it.
Right.
So that's kind of what I would say, not a bad kitchen, it's a little dark.
Yeah.
And boom, what do we do? Oh, it's
Oh,
much brighter.
Completely different. Absolutely.
Really, really stunning transformation.
And the after. Right?
Yeah. And
Yeah.
I don't think we moved a lot of the appliances, which probably saved a bit in, we moved the fridge,
Mhm.
which is great. We
But
gave a little more space around the range. That's really nice.
Yeah.
But the island stayed basically where it was. Yeah. It's, and then go ahead. So a usually shaped island. This was all the rage right in the 90s in a lot of houses in Orange County.
Yeah.
A lot of clients don't want that anymore.
No,
That's
I mean,
fine.
you don't really get a lot of seating out of it, and
No.
the shape's a little odd. So
Yeah, storage, not so great. So
wow.
beautiful transformation,
Yeah.
really interesting contrast in the colors of cabinets.
Yep.
And I love how a client chose the dark appliances to really make that
Get a little
cabinet.
contrast.
Mhm.
Yeah, I feel a little tie in there between the range and the back of the island. And I actually love what they did with the waterfall and the asymmetrical. Notice there's no
Yeah.
waterfall on the other edge.
Yep.
It makes it super interesting. I think it looks very cool.
Yeah.
Modern
Gorgeous
kitchen.
kitchen. Yeah. This, you can almost not even see where the kitchen was, but we'll click to the next photo. So you see, boom, we opened that wide up, which was so
Wow,
great. So
that
this,
was a good decision.
yeah, for sure. With this big view, let's get the kitchen oriented toward the view for sure.
That's an amazing kitchen.
Yeah, a lot of drama there. I love that. Another, standard kitchen, we see millions of these, well, okay, thousands.
Yeah.
And then we turn them into this, which is so much better.
So much brighter, fresher.
Yeah.
Like, you want to go into that kitchen and cook food, or do you want to go into that
I like that
kitchen
one
and cook
better.
food?
Yeah,
Yeah.
so much better. And such a nice little nook to sit and eat once the cooking's done.
Yeah.
And not every kitchen needs an island. That's why we want to show you this case study today.
Mhm.
Sometimes it's just not the right thing for the client. And actually in the kitchen that we're showing you, that we showed you earlier, the clients, I forgot to mention, they have a table that they set in the center of the kitchen, which is just a great place for little grandchildren to sit and hang out and, while grandma cooks and things like that. So
Perfect.
you can always, we accommodate the right space for the kitchen.
Of course.
Yeah, the
Yeah.
right plan.
Before and
Okay,
after.
that
Wow.
was a really dramatic
Yeah, we got to
transformation.
look at that again. They went from dark, very
Brown
dark,
and beige
to brown and beige.
to white and like
Wow.
aqua. Yeah, there's a lot. That's a refrigerator there with the open doors.
Yeah.
Yeah, that is really special with the mirrored cabinetry.
Gorgeous.
Yeah, really dramatic. Another dark kitchen. Wow. And then so much brighter. It's not a huge kitchen, but it just feels very well planned, I would say.
And I love, you notice the base cabinets have the wood tones, also the tall cabinet here with the wood tones and a couple accents. So, you don't have to go all white. A lot of people like white, and it's a great color. I love it too. But you can definitely bring in wood tones to kind of warm things up a little
color.
bit. Or
Yeah,
color. Absolutely.
absolutely. Yeah.
Or,
yeah.
wow.
And after, so much better. Just makes you want to breathe. Oh, yeah. The white refrigerator. Yep.
Yeah. And then, wow.
Wow, just really amazing.
And look at the texture in the tile. I love the floating shelves.
Yeah, those shelves are gorgeous. Underneath those windows, I mean, really thoughtful design.
Yeah.
Love
Has
that.
nice symmetry. Again, bringing in the warmth of the wood.
Yeah.
A little color in the island. So it's
Tying it
very
into the
nice.
furniture, it's just really well done. Beautiful. Yeah.
And wow.
Yeah, pattern. It's great to infuse some pattern into designs. You can keep a lot of things white or light and then have a little moment of wow.
Yeah. And especially if you're trying to tie in something that maybe has, to do with the history or something original in the house. So it's going to be really cool tie together as well.
The style of the home as well.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So let's talk about your project.
Yeah.
I'm sure maybe you're here because you've been thinking about doing your kitchen.
Absolutely.
Let's talk about it. There's, several designers on our team.
Mm-hmm.
You can just call us today to schedule that complimentary design consultation in your house. We'd love to help you.
Absolutely. We're experts in the industry. We'd love to work with you. And so just reach out either by phone or drop something in the chat and we'll see what we can do to set up a meeting for you.
Yeah. So we got a couple questions. I'll start with number one, which is on average, how much can a partial or full kitchen remodel cost with Pointe? So again, I'm sorry, I'm going to say this, but it really depends. I mean, a small kitchen, with more off-the-shelf cabinetry.
Mm-hmm.
And if we try to keep it really tight in budget, it can start around in the 80s potentially.
Yeah, that's probably a good number.
Yeah, when it gets, and that people say, wow, that seems like a different number than I've heard on
but
TV.
It's, it's so really subjective because what is small? We have an idea in our heads what small is, but I've been in some kitchens that are really small. And, and then it's what are we putting into it? Are we doing stock cabinets? Are we, there's a lot of different options in the countertops, or maybe we're just doing a short splash. Maybe we're not moving any appliances. Maybe we're moving all of them. There's just so many things.
So many factors.
Maybe the lighting's okay. Maybe we have to upgrade that for code. There's a lot of things that we don't know just talking in general, which is why it's so important to have someone come out and take a look at it. Then we can really talk realistic numbers with you.
Yeah.
From a low end to a high end, so really give you an idea what that range looks like.
Yeah, I mean, sometimes I'll say something like, so have you thought about your budget? And then, throw out numbers. Like I had a client recently who really wants to do pretty much a whole home remodel. So, is the budget more like 100,000 or is it more than that? So we want to just be really realistic.
Yeah, so this is a good question. I like this one because it's important, I think, to answer it. So the question is, do we use some subcontractors? And so here at Pointe, sometimes we do use subcontractors. We also have in-house labor for most of the trades. So the thing about having the option to do one or the other allows us to sort of custom put together like a schedule for how we're going to run your project. Because sometimes it's going to be more cost effective for us to use a subcontractor. Sometimes it's going to be more cost effective for us to use our in-house labor. So having the flexibility and also for timing, sometimes one's going to be faster or more efficient than the other. So both of those are important factors in planning your project. And as far as subcontractors go, it's okay to use those. If you're working with a contractor and he's got subcontractors, that is a very standard sort of way that the industry works.
Yeah.
Here at Pointe, subcontractors that we use are vetted, insurance is verified, everyone is, has everything that they're required to have as far as liability insurance and workers' comp and all these things that we're required to have.
Yeah, and we call them trade partners because we work with them so often. So how often do you check in on the project? In the construction phase, we do site visits pretty often. So we're checking in to see if the framing is correct, making sure the space is, if we're moving walls or having a new window installed or anything like that, we want to make sure that the shapes and sizes are correct.
Yes.
That's pretty important. So several times during the project, the project manager on your project becomes your point of contact. During the construction phase, we're always here.
Yeah.
So we communicate a lot with the project manager, but they'll give you a weekly update. So what happened? Usually it's on like a Friday. So Friday, what happened the week prior? What's coming up the next week? And responsibilities of the client, the designer, anything else that needs to happen.
Yeah.
So we communicate a lot with you because it's your house. We want to make sure you know what's going on.
Yeah.
And we check in a lot on, especially at tile layout, installation of cabinetry. We want to make sure that everything is correct.
Yeah.
So it's very important that we visit the site.
Yeah. And I'll just elaborate a little bit on that too, because how often you check in on the project, it's a little subjective because you have so many people working on your project here at Pointe. So there's a project manager that is ultimately responsible for the installation and the building of the project, right? And that person is checking in on the project daily. So they're not always on site daily. For projects that they're not on site daily, they usually would have a lead man on site. They're talking back and forth. There's always someone looking at the project, making sure every single step is going in the way that it's supposed to. And then the designer, the person that designed it, is also checking in with the project manager and is on site at I'm going to say like strategic times when certain things are going in. We want to make sure the tile's going in a certain way. We want to make sure the lighting's placing where we had intended it and the way that we drew it in our plans. And so there's a couple points where different people are checking in on the project, but it's always receiving attention.
Yes, for sure. Definitely. Let's see. Another question was, do you only use materials from your showroom and what type of cabinets do you use? We work with master brand cabinets because we love the quality and we have a great relationship with them. They're made in Indiana. So we've just gotten great results with Omega, especially Kemper, Kitchen Craft and Mantra.
Yeah. So to elaborate a little bit on that, we have several lines. Everything that we use is made here in the US, manufactured and assembled here in the US, both. That's important because a lot of people will say made in the US, but they just bring stuff in from elsewhere and put it together here. It's not really the same thing.
No.
So that just speaks to quality of materials. And the reason we carry several different lines is different lines will offer you different options
and prices and colors and door styles.
That's right.
We want to make sure that, we can design with the correct style, color, price point that's really right for your kitchen or bathroom.
Yeah.
And then do we only use materials from our showroom? No, I mean, we can pull material. You're not even seeing a fraction of the tile that we have here, but no, we definitely work with materials from other sources. If we need something, really special that's not here, we're happy to do that. Yeah. We just want to make sure that it's appropriate for the use and it can be installed correctly.
Yeah, and I'll add to that too. I think you said all that well. Just a couple of things I was thinking of. So our showroom is pretty large, and we have a lot of materials in our showroom.
Yeah.
And we have a lot of vendors that we work with that supply us those materials so that we can show them to you. We're never limited to just what's in our showroom, but it's I think advantageous for you to allow us to show and find the materials for you. Because if we have an idea what you're looking for, and maybe it's not something that's sitting right here, right now, you come in for the next meeting, we can call our vendors, have them send us the stuff we need, and you don't have to do any legwork. All you have to do is show up. We'll have the materials ready for you, and we'll be able to narrow it down really easy for you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's our job. We love that.
Yeah.
And then who is meeting with the inspector on site? That's the project manager.
Yep.
Yeah. So you don't have to do that unless you really, really want to be there. And we encourage that as well. I mean, it's your home, but really the project manager takes care of that scheduling, all the inspections. Sometimes with a larger project, the project manager will give you a full schedule about the phases that are happening. And, knowing when all those inspections are going to happen.
Yeah,
so
we'll pull the permits, we'll schedule the inspections.
Yeah.
Either our project manager or our lead site person, we'll be there to meet with the inspector, and we'll get that all handled. That shouldn't be the homeowner's responsibility.
No.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah. Very good.
All right. Well, that's been a great discussion. I'm
Yeah.
so glad we could do this today. And thanks everybody for joining us. And
Absolutely.
Go ahead and call us at that number, 949-861-3400.
Looks like we got one last question, so we're going to try and answer it before we log off here. So the question was, do you need to be home? Does the homeowner need to be home while we're doing the work, right? And that's a great question. And actually, the way that we set things up, you don't have to be home. In fact,
Right.
Some of our clients even take vacations while we're doing the work. But most people work; they need to be gone during the day, and so we will set up a lockbox typically. And we'll arrange times that work for everyone for us to come and go so that we can come in, do the work, and lock up when we leave.
You absolutely don't have to be there.
Mhm.
No, it's certain phases you don't want to be there, like demo. But for the most part, also I have a lot of clients that want to live in the home while the work is being done. That's fine too. We'll work with you.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Well, thanks again, guys. We appreciate you joining us.
Yeah, thank you.
Call us if we can help you. 949-861-3400.
Bye.
Bye.